Okay, so that's the unit out. We'll go and have a look at the new unit's wiring plug and see what we can use and see what we need to cut. Right, I've just snipped off that wire which was on the back there, which means I can pull this out. Because I've got a bit more play. I could even disconnect this cable, this plug, sorry. A little pushy thing. Alright, that's better, isn't it? What's a shame you can't buy that plug so I can keep this all intact rather than cutting and soldering the new plug in. Okay, so just before I started cutting the wires to fit the new unit, I thought I'd quickly try it, see what it looks like. However, it doesn't fit. It's a little bit too high and a little bit too wide. And it's not going to fit that way. So that doesn't fit. Standard in size, but this one it's just got a little cutaway around the outside which makes it just fit nice and flush. So I'm kind of snookered. Maybe got two options. I could put a tablet on it. I have a full functionality of a tablet, which is brilliant, but it looks rubbish. Or I'll try and mount this further back into the dashboard, and then this will push up against it rather than over it, which might be okay as long as I don't lose the functionality of those keys on the side. So that's what we'll try and do first. I'm certainly not going to cut away any of it. And I'm certainly not going to cut away any of the trim. So as you can see, I've had to cut away the bracket quite a lot to make it fit. There's a lot off the side. I've had to slot these screws and file down the heads of the screws so it fits in. So there's been quite a bit of bracket adjustment. Now that should slide in. And there we go, it's in. So we fit it into place with just a couple of screws when we push the trim on. But remember how difficult it was when we put it in. So I'm just going to take these clips off for now. So we're not struggling too much. Get those wires out of the way without losing them totally. And that's just going to push on. To be honest, I don't really want to push that one in, but no. It doesn't look too bad. I'll just show you. The fit is quite good, and I can still touch those buttons. So, I know we still haven't pushed that in yet. I think we're going to be okay. Right, so we'll take this off, and next I suppose is the wiring. Okay, so I've come up with this little chart explaining the colour codes for the original equipment Alpine unit, the Evora harness, and the probably now standard aftermarket harness. And as you can see, the Lotus Evora doesn't match anything. It'd be nice if the colours just went straight through, all the same. As you can see, the only one that is the same is the earth ground one, which is black all the way through, and the speaker wires. Two of the most important ones are probably the red ignition one, which is also red on the new colour code, but for some reason Lotus decided to use pink and green for a colour, and the positive battery, which is always live, which is a yellow, which is also yellow on the new standard maybe. for some reason Lotus use a purple colour. But they're pretty much what they are. The new system's got 2 new wires which we're not going to use because we have no steering wheel controls to connect up to. So we're going to cut them, join that plug to the new wiring plug. How we join them is there's a few options. You could be really careful and use a chocolate block. It takes a lot of space, it's a bit untidy really. Or you could use these newfangled heat shrink stroke solder all-in-one things, which are actually a good idea, and I have used them before but they're not totally brilliant. Or you can just do the old-fashioned soldering iron and solder with a normal heat shrink over the top, and I think that's what I'm going to do. And now we're just going to cut them, which is the horrible bit, but somewhere in the middle. So that's the original unit. I'll stick that back into the back of the unit just to keep it nice and safe. But what we've got left with now is lots of wires. We shall just trim the ends off and start soldering. Okay, join me sometime later when the wires are all soldered, heat shrunk, and I've done a bit of colour coding. There's a few wires which I'm not sure about, which I've connected. One is the reversing camera, which I've connected up to a green original and a pink new. I've also got this, which there's no instructions what the yellow wires are. That could be the reversing camera. No, there's the reversing camera anyway, I know that. There's a handbrake on the original loom, nothing on the new loom, so I'm just going to put that to earth. There's a Bluetooth mute on the original, nothing on the new, so I'm just going to leave that. I've connected the sub amp to a sub power, should do it. And then we've got all these 4-no plugs. As far as the new loom is concerned, there's 2 wires I haven't connected up, and that's key 1 and key 2, which I think are just steering wheel controls, and some extra speaker wires. Right, we're back in the car. I've plugged the harness in. I should have done it really before. So I've plugged that white harness in. Got all the original cables. I've just fed the DAB lead down through a little gap at the back there. I might be able to see it. Just a little bit of light there. Just a little bit of light. I was going to feed the GPS down there as well, and put the GPS on the windscreen, but there's plenty of space at the top there. With only being a narrow unit, we can just put the GPS up there. But the DAB aerial is going to go down through that hole, underneath, up and onto the window up there. The only thing with the DAB aerial is it has to earth, so we'll have to take this cover off and stick it to the metal behind there. The 2 USB leads that come with it have got different plugs. One's a 4-pin, one's a 6-pin. So really I'm not quite sure which one to use for the DAB aerial. So I'm taking it the 4-pin has less options, maybe doesn't do data transfer, that might just be for charging the phone. Whereas the 6-pin might do a little bit more. So I think I'll try the 6-pin with the DAB radio aerial. See how that goes. You don't need me to connect all the wires up, but basically it's just plug everything in. Simple plugs. They only go in one way. The handbrake off the harness, I'm actually just going to leave. This doesn't need a handbrake wire, so we'll just make that safe. I'll leave that one bare. So what I'll do is just plug everything in now, try it, everything works, we'll stick it all in. So it's in, it's all wired up, it's all connected via the hotspot, FM radio, Turn the bulb first one. That's working. Bad reception, we know. We're in the garage. Europe 1, which is funny because I've put this in for our European trip. Just mute that. Back home. The navigation, the offline navigation. Yeah, that works. I'm not quite sure what it is. I'll tell you in a moment. Got no music on. I've connected the phone up so it'll work as a phone. Apps. Put off full voice, I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, here we go, is the app for the offline navigation. It's got Google Maps, downloads, car settings, Google Chrome. So I do got YouTube on. Z-Link is the wireless CarPlay and Android, although I'm not quite sure how to use that one yet. The GPS, take the back plastic off. Stick it right at the back there. Right out the way, right in the middle. Show you on there. It's just stuck up on the back there. I'll have a quick go at making sure the reverse camera works because it's not very clear on the wiring on that one. So, well, that's not good. The fact that it powers down and restart every time I turn the car on. I'll have to change that. Why would that happen? Oh. It shouldn't do this every time. Because it's connected up to the battery all the time, so it saves the memory. This shouldn't be happening. So I'm going to have to have a look at the wires again. Right, reverse. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Give it a bit longer. Right. That's the reversing camera, so it's not getting the signal, which is supposed to be that pink wire. The only thing I think is maybe one of those two yellow wires has to send the signal and not this pink wire. So I'm going to have to cut the wires again. Actually, I'll just quickly check, see if they put 12 volts out or not. Turn the car off for now before I pause myself in the garage. So we've got two problems. The fact that the reversing camera's not working, and the fact that it keeps booting up every time you start the car, which it certainly shouldn't do. Right, so I've got a bit of multimeter checking to go on first. Okay, so we have a problem with the unit. Two main problems. One, when we put the car in reverse, the unit isn't switching screen, so I don't think it's getting the 12 volt signal to do so. So we're going to check the reverse wire, which is the green and brown wire from the Evora hands, and the pink to the new unit. If we're not getting the signal, then we're going to have to run a whole new wire all the way from the reverse lights through the car and join the pink wire. So that's the first problem. The second problem is the fact that the car, when it starts, the unit shuts down and starts back up again. Now, it's wired correctly, but the voltage I've noticed does actually go down to about 9 volts. I think that must be a signal to say that the unit doesn't have a power supply, then it has a power supply when the car is running. I don't think it's the actual battery because I have no problem with starting the car, but we'll put the multimeter on the actual battery, check the voltage. I'll put a wire direct from the battery outside the car through the window and check the voltage up near the dashboard. I'll also check the power to the 12 volt power outlet, see what happens to that when we start the car. And then just to really support the battery a little bit, I'm going to put another battery in the boot, connect them up as if I'm jump starting the car, so it's got a bit of a boost. Start the car, see if the voltage drops, and hopefully one of those will be a solution to our problem. But we'll get the multimeter and we'll go and have a look at those.